All right. Hello to anyone watching this in the future. What you're watching is a game that was arranged through the Gauntlet, which is a community on the internet that gets together, plays cool tabletop role-playing games of all sorts. You can find them at gauntlet-rpg.com, where you'll find a robust podcast network, a regular blog all about on role playing and stuff, the recently open forums, the monthly Codex zine that they publish, and also the Gauntlet Hangouts calendar where this game was arranged. This is part two of a monthly, well, part two, the second monthly series I'm doing of Mecha games, which is basically Gundam based tabletop role playing games. Yeah, the OAV. No, that's all the sad Mech Jam games that I also run. Those are the OAVs. But yeah, last month we were doing Armor Austere with Briar Sovereign. This month we are doing Hilt and Blade by one Darren Brox, who might or might not be around. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe we'll get to him. So part two, let's kind of just introduce our players and our characters, and I guess myself as well. Okay, well, yeah, I should have mentioned. Yeah, my name's Leandro. I use he him pronouns. Hi. Hi. Let's go by the order of the character keeper. Let's kind of just introduce yourself, your pronouns, and your character, and see if you can like shout out a thing they did last session. If not, that's fine. But like, yeah, just like a reminder of what they are. So let's start on the character keeper. Let's start with the aforementioned Darren, who is here and is playing a right sort. Want to tell us all about him?
Sure. Yes, I'm Darren. I'm playing Mars. Uses he, him pronouns. Mars is this sort of ace pilot. It's always been like top of the class, as it were, in like, you blade maneuvering, piloting stuff. Probably not necessarily like academic things. And at this point, he probably doesn't care about academic things because he's just going to be a pilot for all his life because he's a teenager and foolish like that. That's mainly it. I mean, he's kind of like a little dense, I think, and bad at picking up on people's like feelings. Pilots a blade that looks like a big old like knight, basically, with this massive like plume coming off of the head. And shout out something another character did from last session. Is that what you want?
Character. Well, something your character did.
Something my character did. Okay. Let's see. Something my character did. Well, as I'm thinking and still working through this move text, I think it was just like being very gullible and believing Karina when she told me that Benjen and Rain are like a thing, and then me trying to confront Benjen about it outside the lockers and it going terribly wrong.
Oh, teenage years. It's also terribly complicatedly uncomplicated. Speaking of Benjen, Tony, tell us about our chill dude pilot.
Sure. Yeah, so Benjen is an artist. My name is Tony. I use he, him pronouns. Benjen is the character I'm playing. He's he's an artist that is he's kind of without doesn't look like he puts forth a lot of effort, but is able to still like perform really well in his art and his academics, no problem. But I think ultimately where he lacks is kind of like his appreciation for those around him. He's not very let's say sensitive to people's feelings. So like he did actually, one of the things he did was he drew, saw that Rain was tired and drew a picture of the monster of one of the outsiders like haunting Rain. And it caused a little bit of it was obviously kind of a mean thing to do. So he's kind of feeling there was a interaction afterwards that followed it up, and he's feeling a little remorse about it. But I think at the end of the day, he's just going to do what he's going to do, and move on. And I think that's kind of one of the things that kind of classifies Benjen, is he's an artist that uses art to express things, but then moves on, and he's kind of easily distracted. So that's probably part of why him and Mars are not like there's really nothing there, because he's kind of probably already moved on in his mind. Sorry, sorry, Mars. But yeah, that's he pilots his blade. Is a giant bulky computer. I like to think of it almost as like a mostly CPU processing power, because it has a lot of bells and whistles, like holo projectors. It has some kind of teleportation, and it is, but it's very bulky, and it's kind of just like a large frame of like metal and shield with tiny arms, and a sword, with no eyes. So, yep, that's Benjen.
I don't know where to high five him or punch him. All right. So speaking of the aforementioned haunted Rain, which sounds like makes him sound like a Metal Gear character, Haunted Rain. Robert, tell us about Rain, and stop me from rambling.
Rob, I use he, him pronouns. I'm playing Rain, the traumatized survivor of Roanoke Station, which was one of the earlier stations to be attacked by the Outsiders. He's a sort of casual dressed guy with sort of shaggy black hair with a tuft of grey off to the side of it. His mech is sort of devil-like with a bow attached to one arm, which can also double as a hard light shield. And last time we saw Rain, he was having a conversation with Karina, where he basically remembered that she had been at the station, at Roanoke Station as well, and saved his life. So thanked her for that, and they had a moment there of bonding. So
yeah, it was a good moment. It's nice to see bonding from our last character, the rather cryptic Karina. Danny, want to tell us about yourself and her?
Olives, I go by Dynamoon Online. I use she, her, and my character is Karina De La Cruz. She is a quote unquote outsider to the town, city, school, because she's only been around for a couple of years, and is a, how did I put it, psychic adept pilot who doesn't really talk much. She's not necessarily antisocial, it's just that she's not social. She has a lot of secrets she has to keep to herself. And yeah, like she's part of this. She does the fighting because she's told she has to fight. Unlike Mars, she's not gung ho about, killing and fighting and getting in the mechs and everything. But despite that, she has a very pretty mech, pink and iridescent and not too feminine looking, because there's no reasons that mechs should have boob armor. Just saying, artists out there. And she has her mech has ethereal like looking wings that are kind of more like they're like working holographic wings, so she can fly. And and she has amplification also in her mech to amplify her psychic abilities, but that also causes a massive mental drain on her. So generally after a fight, I think she's kind of MIA for a bit, and everything. And I think the one thing we kind of hinted on it, but it's like my favorite part because I was totally not expecting for her to do it was to tease Mars because he happens to know or has suspected that she's not who she says she is, and was like, "So if you have powers, tell me something." And she totally lied and said, "Oh, Ben and Rain are together, just so you know." Because she knows there's tension going on. Like, you don't have to be psychic to see that, but she sees it. And so, yeah, that's Karina.
God, these are all delightful teenagers. All right, so before we probably get started, before I do my recap, let's talk about safety first because I want to make sure that everyone knows from the top what we have to make sure that everyone is playing in a safe and comfortable environment. Because main priorities, obviously, people's comfort and safety. So, remind folks, we use lines and veils. So, basically, what that means is that lines are things that won't be crossed, won't just show up on fiction, not even gonna vaguely allude to it. It's just not gonna happen. It's just lines that won't be crossed. Veils are things that can happen in fiction, but we're not going to concentrate on it. It happens off screen. We're not going to focus the camera on it. It can happen, but we won't show it explicitly. Remind folks again, lines and veils are on the character keeper separate tab for there. We also are using script change for this game, written by Rebo Sheldon. I'll put a link in the YouTube description. Basically, it is a bunch of tools for folks to basically control the pacing of the game, and there's a bunch of tools. So basically, it's consolidating a lot of stuff. So it's using recognizable symbols. It's also there in the role for your party roller. So basically, we have some of the tools include rewind, which is basically if we go to a scene that makes people uncomfortable or anything, they can say they just want to rewind. I might ask what's being rewinded on. Nobody gets to question if folks want to rewind the scene. It's just that whatever is happening will rewind and start over. People can pause at any time, which basically means if you need a break for whatever reason, or there's an emergency, or the scene is getting just a bit too intense and you want a breather, even if you're not in the scene, anyone can call for a pause, so to speak. Even if you need a break at any time, for 5 minutes, or you need to just step away, that's completely fine. We'll pause the action and we'll attend to whatever needs to be attended. And also you can fast forward, which basically what it means is that there's just some things that we might just need to skip over. We won't linger on them, so to speak. So there's rewind, pause, and fast forward. Those are kind of the main tools for script change. There's a link to it in the lines and veils tab as well. Folks want to look into that, or folks here, players, anyone watching wants to look into that, there's a link down below in the description. Okay, so let's kind of recap where we are. Remind folks, y'all live in a space station, a town in an island in a space station, which is rad. We've established at this station called Palladium Station. That's a reference that only Robert's gonna get. Palladium Station is comprised of different biomes. Y'all kind of live in a military town where the organization that you work for, the paramilitary force known as the Garden, they kind of control that town, although you do take a train to school. The imminent threats that you fight against are called outsiders, and they are eating gravity, apparently. They threaten the laws of physics, time, reality, space, and all that, so they're otherworldly and weird, and yeah, eating gravity, Jesus Christ. And the blades that you pilot are made from a planet's core that's probably sometime in some sort of unknown part of history, your predecessors hollowed out that planet to make this space station and your blades, so to speak. We had some very fun scenes. Very fun scenes last week. Was it a great idea to put the four of you in a small box on a train? Was it? Some people are nodding, some people are shaking. I'll say it's a 50-50 split, it seems. Yeah, it was a lovely way to get to know everyone. I think we got a tenor as well of kind of like the station outside. There's there was a news broadcast celebrating y'all about how, hey, our blades are cool. They fight these outsiders, the noble blades of the garden, I think you're called. Um, and then we got school. It was, yeah, I think most of it was covered by what you're saying, like Benjen drawing that thing that kind of pissed Rain off. A lot of awkward not apologizing between the two of them. Karina playing that trick on Mars. Mars being, oh, hey, we made out, Benjen. Remember that? Yeah, yeah. Why don't we do that some more? And that didn't go so well for Mars. And then, yeah, we ended off with a conversation with Karina and Rain, and Rain having that realization. So, also, just to remind folks, 2 ticks in the imminent threat clock. Just to remind folks, the imminent threat can appear at any time as soon as that 4th tick happens. So watch out for that. And again, I'm gonna ask y'all if you have any scenes you want specifically. Otherwise, I think the framing I want for this is like I kind of want to skip or hope for it. Yeah, yeah. Let's go fight the gravity-eating monsters. Because the station kind of like well, not worships you, but like they kind of like see they really pride on you, Hilts. Okay, so unless people have anything they want to do in school, I kind of want to frame where we are now. We're gonna skip ahead to after school. I want to know what you all doing, after school. What's your extracurricular activities, or do you go out to the city, or what are you all doing? I also remind folks that in your relationships, you have like scenes you can frame. You'll get links when you frame them. Mars framed his, the aforementioned. Why aren't we making out like we did with Benjen, which didn't turn out well. But yeah, you all have any ideas for what you like? If no one has any idea at the moment, I think I'll ask each of you what you're all doing after school. But I see Mars, you're anything there?
Oh yeah, I had an idea for what I'm doing after school. So I can go ahead with that. But I think I was just gonna say I think that there is a parade today in one of the maybe like central administrative islands, perhaps in honor of the Hilts or something in some way, or like maybe it's like almost like a military parade put on by the garden, probably like a reminder, right, to society that the garden is here. We have all this great tech. Everything is safe. No problems. And Mars wants to go. And Mars will probably try to get everyone to go.
Is everyone going to this parade?
We can do it. Maybe if we want to do a scene, maybe it's like we're like right outside the school or something, right? Mars will look between all of you with this little bag, and he's like, "We're all going to the parade today, right? You all remember it?"
I thought it was mandatory. At least that's what was implied to me.
No, I mean I don't think so. But like, why wouldn't you go? Should be mandatory.
To watch them talk about us? Like,
Yeah, but we get to like
well,
be there too. You can like wave at the little kids.
Yeah, I was planning on going. I have to run some calculations on my handheld. And I like hold up my screen. It's like so I can't really be using it to draw things. So I have nothing else to do. So I'm in.
Well, glad it's convenient for you, Benjen.
Well, apparently, Karina says it's mandatory, but that's never stopped me from just not going in the past. What about you, Rain? Are you planning on joining us?
If it's mandatory, I will.
Great. Glad to hear we're all going.
We don't have to be in proper uniform though, do we? I always hate having to put that on when we're not needing to fight.
Well, listen, I'm gonna like unzip my backpack. Like I brought everyone's uniforms just in case.
How did you get access to my locker?
No, I just picked up an extra set from whatever it's called, provisions or whatever.
Yeah, from the barracks or whatever. Yeah, the provisions.
Yeah.
I'm like, great. This is really exciting. I mean, like Benjen is like, I'm just gonna look around and just kind of like shake my head at Rain and Karina and be like, this is insane. How am I more excited about this parade than these guys?
You're an artist. You like to have the flattery, maybe?
Yeah, it could be. I mean, maybe I'm interested to see what other tech they're going to roll out, because sometimes these are like really big arms shows too, to what kind of new I don't know. Yeah, I'll just say tech.
So I figure we're like off to the side, like outside of the school where there's not really much traffic going, like people traffic. So Karina is going to take the uniform and not caring because she grew up in a way where it wasn't like a thing, and starts changing immediately in front of everybody.
Rain is going to turn around.
Wow. Okay, so once.
Oh wait,
Karina the only one changing?
this is perfect because one of my links is to frame a scene where I'm interacting with Karina and taking my social cues. I'm going to do the same thing. So yeah, so Benjen does the same thing. It's no big deal.
Oh my god! All right.
I mean,
Yeah. I
I'm
don't think this is
change
exactly
too.
that. Oh wait, sorry. Say that again, Mars.
I said I'm gonna change too then. Like, I love the excitement, you guys.
So Rain, are you giving into peer pressure?
I think Rain well, yes, just okay. Actually, like find somewhere that nobody else can see him, and then change like a wall behind a wall or something, or
God.
like a fake bush or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, properly fake bush. I think as you kind of finish changing, or Rain's probably still changing, on cue, let's say a limousine shows up. No expenses spared, and nice like black limousine, and the doors open for you, and it's like it's civil staff from the garden. I'd say they all wear these like they have like beige uniforms, and they wore these like visors so that you can't like see their eyes or whatnot, and yeah, they kind of like open the door. They kind of expect that you all know the drill. Maybe Rain, you're a bit behind because you're behind the fake bush. But yeah, I think you'll whisk away. Actually, are you used to stuff like this? These like public events?
I am definitely not, because I haven't been in public for very long.
What about the rest of y'all?
I think Benjen, a little bit, yeah. Maybe not being the center of things, being in the margins. Because I was saying like maybe there's one of his parents is like maybe he has some fame as an artist. So.
All right.
I think I'm the second most recent addition to the squad, so it's not my first time, but I don't like the attention.
Mars is overperformative. I think he takes it too far.
Oh, just a bit. Okay, so yeah, you're all taken. Like, I don't think. Yeah, I get the feeling this parade is kind of like part like the garden collaboration with the garden and the government. So like maybe your handler's not there at the limo, but you'll probably meet them at the parade. But when you kind of get to like the staging grounds, let's paint the scene a bit here. Because big damn parade. Um, I want to know from Mars, like what display from the parade you feel accurately captures what the garden does.
Interesting. Okay. I think I think it is a I think it's a display, and it's like a condensed history lesson that's meant to show the progress made. Like, it goes all the way back to like development of the station, and then like there's probably even creation of the blades. There's a lot of like basically propaganda towards like what like humanity is doing in response to these outsiders, and what we're doing in space is like correct, and like the like predetermined trajectory of our people. And it's absolutely just like a propaganda broadcast meant to like draw up support for the garden, and like basically keep the Hilts in this like very like preeminent spot.
All right. Benjen, what do you see in the parade that inspires you? Like sets your artistic senses going?
I think probably just the technology used to tell that story is like a rendering of is like a re-rendering of like radio signals of actual moments in history, when like the first unveiling of some of the blades, when you know with much fanfare. So it's almost like a parade in a parade, but it's like the technology back in that age wasn't nearly as sophisticated, but now like we're able to see it with such more vivid like holographic renderings, and it's just the colors are very bright and it's extremely impressive. Even if you're not a fan of the war aspect of the blades, the art itself is really impressive, the colors and the rendering.
Nice. Rain, what display from the parade you feel is an exaggeration, besides the one that Mars just described?
I feel like I don't know if exaggeration is the word I'm thinking of here, but right. So some of they're like showing like recreations of battles, because they're recreating battles from previous engagements with the outsiders of the blades, and the because they're working from they don't have actual footage, so the actual images of the outsiders are really like generic. This is a big monster. It's it's just sort of over the top kaiju-esque sort of monster, and the outsiders aren't like that.
Oh, you would know. Well, all of you would know, but you know quite well. And Karina, what do you see of the parade about your predecessors, the previous Hilts? Are they even like celebrated in this parade, do you think?
I think it wasn't. I think the way it's set up is you don't get like showings of all the squads previously. It's always just one from each squad, and they state it's the one that was like that sacrificed the most or did the most. But Karina knows better, and those were the ones that I guess it's the bad thing that happens to, I guess, Ascension? Or sorry, I'm double checking. I'm trying to remember. Haha. Like when you I guess like the similar would be like roid out, like or like explode, like you become like you didn't die in battle because of like the monster getting you or like sacrificing yourself. It's just that it you pretty much did like a supernova, and those are the ones that they seem to highlight to in a way to like cloud the truth.
Yeah. God, these people. The station sucks. Jesus. Yeah. So you all kind of see that being prepared, and you're kind of taken in, and it's a platoon of personal assistants, and like crews kind of like touching you up, making sure you're presentable for the cameras. Probably some of you are used to it. I assume Mars is very used to it. I don't know. Sorry, I'm assuming the worst of him all the time now. And you're kind of being taken, and I think kind of waiting like at your. Oh, okay. Let's do a little more painting. I want to know. I want a detail from each of you of the parade float that the four of you are going to be on. I mean, they're not going to do a parade and not show off their current squad of hilts. I'm sorry.
I wonder if did we know we were gonna be on a parade float? As I
I
wonder.
don't think so. I think it was very ambiguous to help like us be more acquiescent to
Yes.
this mandatory thing.
Yes. Oh, man, I'm ecstatic. Sorry. Okay.
think-
What was,
I
you
think
wanna-
I think the float, like, because it would be too ostentatious to have our blades there and everything, that they took aspects of each blade and just designed that part onto the float, like Karina's wings or like your plume, like, and it just looks completely ugly to us, but everyone else is like, whoa, kind of thing.
Yeah, actually, I want to detail in how your characters are feeling. Well, actually, no. I think we're fine with that parade float. If anyone has other detail they want to add, that's fine. But yeah, how are your characters feeling? I heard Morris is ecstatic. Uh, how's how's Benjen feeling?
Benjen's kind of upset that he only gets to see the float right in front of him and the one right behind him. Like there's also he's upset that like the part of the blade that they made for him doesn't have any kind of interactivity. He's, I guess, in another word, he's kind of bored and doesn't want to wave to anybody. So he's just kind of like kind of searching around, seeing if there's like coffee or something. I don't know. I think that's gonna be his thing because it's in the character art. But yeah, he's gonna, again, one of the, as people are like helping him and as they're getting him ready for it and everything, I think that might be one of the things he asks for, like just to be made more comfortable. It's like, does anybody have coffee I could have? Like, just because he knows he's not gonna get to do anything for himself, so he just wants to drink coffee or something.
I think a coffee cup materially ends up in your hand, but you hear someone say, "You've got 5 minutes to drink all that."
Okay.
And then somebody whispers on that PA system and says, "Okay, fine, you can drink that in the parade float, but make sure to hold up the logo if you have to drink the parade float."
Okay, awesome. I'm gonna ask anybody else wants any. Like Rain, are you good? Do you want some coffee? Tea?
I'll have a coffee.
Yeah,
I'm
again,
fine, Benjen. Thanks.
Karina, are you good on your beverages? They're doing a drink run.
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, so Rain, how are you feeling about this whole?
So that varies depending on what part of the parade we're, what part of the story is going. Like, at bits where they're showing like the losses that we felt, Rain's kind of mournful, and then the rest of it where they're sort of trying to put a positive spin on this, like you're the Blaze, we're gonna fight back and we're gonna win and that sort of thing. Just sort of disgusted, like they're they're just like glossing, putting a gloss on the situation.
Before oh my god. Yeah, the four of you again isolated in a situation. Now everyone looking at you. Karina, how are you feeling about all this?
So up until the point where like we get onto the parade, it's very obvious that like she's reluctant and is just doing this, like typical Karina. And then like one of the assistants or whatever come up to her and whispers to her, and then like as soon as like we're about to like go from, because there's the dressing area of the parade where you line up and then you go onto the thing. So like as soon as we get on, her whole demeanor changes. And it's not that she's like excited as Mars, but it looks like she's like like the typical like those hero portraits, like proud looking and like just staring off, and like it's very un-Karina like.
Wow. Okay, so let's get you on this parade float. So I think there's no place to sit down. You all are standing out there, and I think you hear from the blizzard of PA assistants that just wave, smile. It'll be over in 20 to 30 minutes. Just gotta stand there. You don't have to do anything. I think they're all kind of like it's a lot of people kind of saying a lot of things all at once as you're all kind of ushered into the middle of this parade float. And the music's going, so patriotic marching band music, confetti, and I think there's a bit of a lull because you're kind of near the back of the parade, so you're all kind of still in the staging area as all these kind of floats and like I don't know inflatable blades, inflatable balloon blades are kind of being taken out. And it's a beautiful day, and you got a moment before like the parade float goes with four of you just standing there.
Karina, you look so mature.
Karina turns
Yeah.
to Mars and it's like, and has this weird like almost like to you guys it'd be like plastic fake smile. She's like, we have to present a front.
I'm just too excited. I love this stuff. It's just nice to get the the approval we deserve.
Sure. She is, and she's still smiling like as if we're having a happy conversation.
Benjen, Rain, I think you could really like take a note from Karina. Like, look how well she's presenting herself. Mars is smiling like an idiot. Meanwhile,
I'm like, I think, sorry, go ahead.
Go on.
I think Benjen might just be like, he like changed from his normal like slouched forward to like standing up slightly, and just I guess this works. I don't know if I can hold it for the whole parade though.
I think I'm like a little like taken aback. I think seeing Benjen like stand up and really like take that confidence and fake form is getting me a little flushed. Because no matter
feeling-
what, Benjen, yeah, I think I am. No matter what,
going.
Benjen, Mars is gonna be into you. And that'll be Mars's cross to bear. But yeah, I think I am. I'm a little caught up in my feelings right now. Let me jump
Oh
over
dear.
super
Plus
ego.
super ego.
What's my super ego? 0.
I like this side comment or character. I love the fact that like something I thought was just a reaction to something Karina was doing and was like ended up triggering your caught up in your feelings. It's very much a high school thing, I guess.
So I got a 7. I got a 7 to 9, whichever it was. Yeah, 7.
Alright.
So can I either strain a level or tell someone what's going on? I'm gonna strain a level because we already fought about this, and I'm I think I'm like a little embarrassed to be caught up in my feelings like this. So I'm gonna keep it to myself.
Aw.
But I think you definitely see the flush. Like I think Mars is clearly going through it as I like turn and like look very sternly ahead.
I think you kind of hear like this crew person kind of cue to say 5 more minutes, 5 minutes till Hilt squads float, and you kind of see like the float in front of you, which I think is it is one of those they've represented the outsider as a kaiju, a cuddly kaiju thingamabob. So float squad. So yeah, there's 5 more minutes. You can kind of hear the engine rumbling underneath y'all, and another PA person just shouts like, "Remember, smile and wave, smile and wave."
I think right before then, though, like Karina kind of like breaks just a little bit in like the expression she has, and she turns to like as if she suddenly remembered something, and turns to Rain and goes, "You can," and whispers in a way so that maybe only Rain can hear. I'm making gestures as if you guys can see me, but you can't. So sorry about that. um, and goes, "If it's too much, let me know."
Yeah.
Is it already too much?
Yeah.
So, let's see. I'm trying to. I guess I'm gonna. Can I like what I want to do is like go to him, put my hand on his shoulder, and then try to like do like like a psychic like calming thing.
Yeah, sure. Is Rain okay with that?
I mean, I don't know what they're doing, but I've said yes. So
Yeah, like I think like she'll like say like if I roll well, she'll be saying like soothing words, so it seems like it's just like a pep talk kind of thing, but it's actually her using her powers, her psychic powers. So would that be make a connection?
Yeah, I'm down for that. You. I was gonna suggest it anyway. The moment you tried to talk to him, so
Okay, so that's just 2d10s, correct?
2d6.
Or 2d, yeah, sorry.
We're a long ways away from Spire.
Yeah. So 9.
All right, on a 7 to 9, you either give them a link or you gain a link.
I'll give them a link.
Oh, cool.
And the words like I'll say are something along the lines like don't worry, Mars and I will take the bulk of the attention. um it's okay to just it's okay to have a polite smile. You don't have to look at anybody. We're going to get through this. Um like just be yourself. Don't worry about it. Kind of thing.
okay. Yeah.
All right, float squad, off you go. smile and wave. Remember, just smile and wave as your float starts moving, and you're hit by a wall of noise. Just an indescribable pop as hundreds or maybe thousands of voices just erupt in awe, in ecstasy, in joy as they see the four of y'all. Um, yeah, I'm using the right words. As the four of y'all kind of come into focus, and the streets of this city, which I guess isn't that big because you're in a space station, but it's thronged. It's kind of packed. It's hard to make out people in the crowd, but you can tell, like, they're all very happy to see you all. Maybe there's some folks that are waving some, I don't know, some like paper mache butterflies, because apparently Benjen made some butterflies last session. I don't know. Is there a fan club for any of y'all? No, is there? That's a terrifying question. Let's skip over that. You want Mars to have one. What if Mars wants to have one, but it's Benjen who does have one?
Yeah, I think that's correct. We talked about last session Benjen having like some fans of his artwork, so that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, there might be some folks, waving like, I don't know, prints of his work, just like 2D prints. You're almost kind of disappointed that the holographic bit on your float, you can't do anything with it. And I think Rain and Karina are too new to have a fandom yet, but they kind of see, like, all right, what do they see? I'll ask you all each individual. What do they see? And I'm gonna go the opposite order of the character keeper this time. So what did they see of Karina?
Wait, what
As
do
in, what
the people see about Karina, or what does Karina see about the people?
what do the people see of Karina? Like, what are you doing?
I think it takes like a few minutes, like even though like she put on this air and this very un-Karina like self, it takes her a few minutes to actually like get in quote unquote character. So at first it's just like the very like prim and posh like heroic wave and smile. But she keeps glancing back at Rain. And then I'm presuming is Mars like going all around the float and waving to people, or is he staying in place?
I was kind of imagining the float is like not huge. Maybe it's big, but it's not huge. And then because it's like moving, I feel like the stagers would have been like, okay, here's like the the box you can move in. So I think Mars is mostly just like shifting and like turning.
So yeah, so like I said, at first this is like she hasn't moved, and then takes a step towards Mars and like gives him a big like very fake smile and like puts her arm around him, and like as if like very coupley like, and this like waving like very Hunger Games Katniss thing, like amping it up and ensuring like she's in front of Rain, so like that he could be blocked.
Mars, what do you say to this?
I think Mars is his own fucking world, and I think when you slip your arm around my shoulders, I think there's like a crack in the demeanor, because I very much don't feel this way about you, and it feels like a lie to present ourselves this way. So I think I just like kind of like shift. I like I'm not making it a scene. I kind of want to like avoid it, right? So as I'm like just like shifting and turning and pull my body in a way to like make it awkward to keep your arm around it. I'm trying to stay out of it.
Yeah, trying to avoid this situation. Okay,
Oh yeah.
go on.
Ego. Oh, ego is my +1. That's an 11.
Hey, well, you folks are rolling well. So describe how you managed to like get away from Karina.
I wonder. I kind of part with the 10 plus, it's like I don't have to get involved, but everyone's too busy to like notice. So I'm kind of wondering like what everyone else's reactions to it are, right? Like I think I get it, I pull away and I just go back to my like hand waving and like audience work basically. But I wonder like what do Benjen and Rain think as they see this, right? Because this isn't a relationship Karina and I have had before in any way.
Very correct. But this is not a Karina you guys seen before either.
Is Benjen even paying attention to any of this happening?
Right. Well, yeah. I don't know if Benjen. I think Benjen is. I don't know that he has very strong reaction to it. I think he's like sees Karina doing that, and he's kind of like he nods to himself. Maybe sees if Rain notices, but I don't think that they were. I don't know what Karina's motivation was for doing it. So, yeah, exactly. This is good. This is interesting. Yeah.
Sorry. If continue. Sorry.
Yeah, I was done. No,
Okay. I think Rain is mostly confused. Like, sort of looks at the Karina and Mars moment and sort of glances aside at Benjen, like, what's going on? Like,
yeah, I guess we'll make this small talk about. Oh, I didn't realize that they were a thing, and then like it's like, oh, maybe they're not a thing, because you like see like Mars. I think Mars wants all the glory for himself. That kind of explains it to me, at least. So that's all I'll say to Rain.
You expressing yourself there? You just saying that? Or
Yeah, I mean,
you're not wrong.
well, no, and maybe this is an expression of myself because I'm like, maybe that's part of the reason I'm like, I don't know. I don't think Benjen. I think Benjen is like learning more about Mars, seeing him do that. So maybe that is kind of expressing himself in a way. He's like, because when you're saying like, it's like as soon as I say that, maybe Benjen is like, oh yeah, that is kind of what Mars wants. He wants all the glory for himself, which is okay. But like,
Yeah, because
I would say so. So I could roll for that, or do my
roll plus when you externalize your feelings without
ego.
reflecting on them, which is this sounds like it.
Mm-hmm. So I get a 7. If I
There you
8,
go.
if you get the +1 for the ego. But you know what? I think it was at a disadvantage though,
Oh,
right? Because I have the egos checked.
that you're rolling id for this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then it's just a 7.
Okay, all right. You can spend a link to improve that to a 10 plus. That's that's a suggestion. That's what I just mentioned. Links. That's what links are used for. You don't have to improve it because on the 7 to 9, what happens is, let's see, on the 7 to 9, if you blame a hilt, they choose one. This is kind of like if you involve a hilt, this you choose one. You can either they choose one. So this probably means you, Mars.
Yeah,
Probably.
if the blame is at me, or it could be, or you could position it if like it's the parade, right? That could be the NPC in this case, or something like that.
Yeah, I think I might go with the hilt. Yeah, because there's not much MP. Yeah, I don't know how the parade is going to reject your. Well, there could be a way, but Benjen is talking about you specifically. So I think you hear that.
Well, I don't think I'm going to improve it. I think that's fine. So that means that they get to choose, or then that Mars gets to choose a reaction, like he overhears me or something. Okay.
Yeah, something like that. That's interesting. I'm trying to think of each way. How would I escalate this, or how would I be like, whoa? Yeah, I think man, but that's true though. I think I do want all the glory for myself. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna escalate it. I think when I catch that, like, he just wants all the glory for himself. I think I just turn on you, and I think this is part of, like, I was talking about my whole demeanor kind of got like cracked by Karina coming into my space. I think it's just like, I think Mars needs things to go like according to plan, right? Because I think that's been his whole ace pilot thing. Is like it just works when he pilots stuff. So I don't think he's very good at maybe handling stuff that's not working how it should. So I think it's first like Karina coming up, and then hearing like Benjen talking during the parade, and then like talking about me. I think I just kind of like turn on Benjen, and like I'm not waving at people anymore. Like I'm not even smiling, I don't think. And I think I even like push you a little bit. I'm really gonna escalate it. I think I pushed you a little bit, and I'm like, then just leave, Benjen, and get off the float. You don't need to be here. If this is my whole show, then let it be my show.
So I think Rain at this point is trying to do what Karina suggested, and just like smile politely and wave a little bit, and just sort of cracks an eye towards Mars, and is like, right now, I mean, your public is watching, Flyboy.
Yeah, well, apparently I'm the one who matters about any of this, Rain. So you can go too.
I think you can hear some close citizens gasping. I think they hear that. The people are close there, and you probably hear gasping. This will probably show up in social media later, but yeah, let's keep this going. Come on.
Surprisingly, Karina does not interject and just keeps waving and smiling at the crowd.
And you're gonna have to roll to stay out of this.
Okay, that makes sense. Roll plus ego. What is my ego? 0. Okay. Raw. 10.
Oh my god, you're rolling like champs. So you keep smiling and waving at Mars. Okay, so you've shouted at the two of them. How are you feeling, Benjen?
Benjen's a little disappointed, but he knows that he's not too perturbed that he just got pushed around. I mean, he knows that he can have a big mouth, and it's cost him in the past. So he knows that Mars and him are not really on good footing, so he's not going to push the issue. If anything, he's a little upset because like the coffee like maybe spilled on a part of his uniform, but it's like he doesn't really care about his presentation. I think Mars cares more about their presentation than anyone. So it's like, maybe that's what he'll latch onto. Benjamin, like, look what you did. You're making us all look messy. And then he'll just like kind of go back to the smile and wave. It's kind of verbal sparring. I'm not necessarily looking for you to engage, but if I don't know if I trigger another move, what happens. I don't
know. No, I think that's enough to like get through to me, right? Because that's an outburst, and you're like, even if kind of derisively, you're just like, what the fuck? Yeah, I think that'll like set me right. But I think Mars is looking between the Benjen and Rain, and it's like, oh, fuck. I'm wondering, like, where is the docent during this parade? Because surely the docent's here.
Well, actually, you turn the corner and you can kind of see the end of the parade, where there's a nice stage, and waiting there is a bevy of government officials, including like the what would you call the leader of the station, the governor general or something like that. waiting there. He's an old white man. No, he's not. He's not. No, he's not. There's a lot. There is quite a few still. Probably some old white men. I think the governor general is probably quite young. He's got a nice military green uniform and a bunch of medals that he probably didn't earn. And yeah, standing next to him is the docent. And
Did the docent see all this?
I think I'm kind of imagining the docent has like, for some reason, imagine she has like this like high tech like eyepiece that she can see a lot through that.
Yeah, I mean, and regardless, I think as we turn and Mars is looking around and we turn the corner and I see the docent, I think Mars, that's like the real trigger that gets Mars to like straighten up. And like there I am waving and smiling as if nothing happened.
Yeah, she's giving you that. She's giving you all that look. The I'm gonna talk to the rest of y'all in a private place later. Look, but we've been here for an hour, so let's take a break. We're gonna let's skip the pleasantries of having to shake hands with the governor general, and we'll pick up in like 10 minutes. Let's say, yeah, let's give it a good 10. All right, BRB. Jeez, look at all these links and strained levels. No one's. So this is what happens when no one fails a roll, huh?
Yeah, it just stretches out.
So like by the time an actual battle happens, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
So it happened last month in my Hilt and Blade game. We didn't have any travelers, any imminent threats for the first like session and a half. And by the time they finally got to one, they were like, they had no links. They were almost completely strained. Quite a battle.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. I'll probably give that a watch when I have the time. Okay. All right. So I think once the parade has kind of wound down, we're kind of blurred through the official niceties you have to do, like shake hands with the governor general. He probably presents you all with a fruit basket each. Bit more like smiling, waving. I think the PA who gives you your fruit basket, Benjen, they shove it in a way that so it hides the coffee stains, and they're like, no, hold it here. And then I think all this time you kind of feel the eyes of the docent on you all. Here's a weird thing about the docent. I think you'll never notice. Like you've never seen her walk anywhere. She always just kind of shows up. Not because of a supernatural thing. It's just that she's very controlled with how she does. It's a thing you never notice. So like I think after this, you're all kind of ushered back into the train, unless you want to talk to the governor general. Otherwise, I'm ushering you all back to the train to be debriefed. I think. Well, you're gonna be debriefed back at home, back in your small town. Well, just the garden. I think it's what's called, since the garden controls the entire place. But yeah, you're back in your box. Yeah, I think even the way back, it's still the box.
So immediately as they lock us in, because of course they lock us in, like Karina, like that whole plastic, like fake, like smiling, confident Karina disappears, and it's like you might even see for a second her scowling, and then like before, because she doesn't know any better, just changes immediately in front of everybody.
In a more confined space.
Yeah, in an even more confined space, and she's technically longer in her underwear because she has to dig through the bag for her clothes.
Well, that was a mess. Probably could have gone a lot better. Like, glaring at Benjen.
I don't know. I don't know what to compare it to. The screams were pretty loud. They seemed all pretty excited to see us.
I mean, I think we could have been better.
You're the one that lost your cool. Even
What?
Rain managed through.
Oof. It wasn't my fault, Karina. You were trying to like hug me, and then everyone's talking on the float. I can't concentrate.
You can't concentrate when I'm near you.
No, that's not what I mean.
I think actually she was in mid dress and she says that and she comes up to you like half dressed. Like
Yes. This sounds like you're externalizing feelings without reflecting on them. Like,
wait, which me or her? Him.
actually, I have no idea if it's her or you.
Cause like I'm not like Karina's not offended. She's just like I thought you were more professional than this. Like
Keep going. Actually, I don't think this is it yet, but keep going.
yeah.
Well, I think when you do, I think I think it's a classic anime scene where like the entire character model of Mars just turns bright red.
Mm.
I'm very embarrassed by this closeness. Karina, put your clothes on.
Karina just rolls her eyes, and of all people, I thought you would have handled that a lot better. and walks back towards like her little duffel and finishes getting dressed.
I think I'm just gonna sit like against the wall. It looks very. It probably looks really childish, actually. But I think I'm just kind of put out. Like no one's on my side. It's totally irrational.
Are you feeling introspective there?
Yeah, I think
Oh,
I
you
am.
poor thing. Aw.
Because I'm trying to figure out how I was the one wrong here. Super ego, which I think is strained. Yes, my super ego is strained. 86. I'm gonna be red. 70. 4. That's a 6.
Hey,
Yeah.
finally.
Gladly take the miss.
Yeah. Okay. So. Oop. Hold on. Okay. So you're leaning there in the silence, and again, just that you feel kind of like that tingle again of gravity lifting around you, just a little bit. It's almost like things would be simpler if you were just fighting a thing instead of fighting your friends.
Yeah.
Things would be so much simpler. Rain, you've been quiet there, watching all this. What are you up to?
I think Rain is just sitting quietly and just like has half a smile on his face at at Marzy's irritation. He kind of enjoys seeing Mars not getting what they want out of the parade, really.
Jesus, you and Benjen just like made of Teflon and you completely unfazed. Mars over there is just okay. All right. I think if no one else has anyone to say to anything in this, I think we will just the journey will continue in silence as you're brought back home, and I think whatever personal communication devices y'all get pinged with the same message, and the thing with the docent is she never like writes anything at all. She just pings y'all, and it's like, yeah, you know where to go. What does your town look like, actually? I want to. Yeah, it's nice to paint the town because if you're not in school or if you're not going to, I don't know, some sort of beach island for a beach episode, you'll be spending time in this place. Hey. Ooh, that could be a thing. I don't know. If you all want to party or bring friends, I don't know. Yeah. I want to know what each character feels when they get back home, when they get back into town. Like, what's the sight they see, and like, what's kind of like the general feeling they have, irrespective of what just happened. I'll start with the reverse ordered character keeper. Let's start with Karina. Like,
So I think the town is like it's very manicured. Like the landscape is very like like it has like the illusion of being like this is like the perfect small kind of town. So it looks a little bit nicer than some of the other like rural towns or cities even. And Karina has no feelings about this town because this is not where she grew up. So it's just like it for her is just another destination and everything.
all right. What about you, Rain?
I think the town has like a few spots of like greenery, like garden areas, park areas with trees and flowers and stuff, all sorts of hydroponic, sort of, doubling as hydroponics really. And it just, gives him a sense of peace, like, especially after being in the parade. Just sort of nice, calm sort of feels.
Nice. It is like a nice little island garden. Benjen, how about you?
Yeah, I want to say that like in the middle, like kind of to add to the manicured look of things, there's also fresh water streams that are running that are very angular and almost like a grid that go through and carry water to a lot of the various plants, people's gardens, things like that. But it's also just very aesthetically pleasing. So it's just like right angles and diagonals and triangles and all sorts of geometric, almost like canals going in and weaving kind of in between the houses and little, footbridges that go over them, just to give the grounds just an even more sense of like pleasing, and you can even hear the water most places that you're at. So it's like even though it's an island, the water is kind of also like all around.
All right. And Mars?
Yeah, I think I have to clear my throat so much. I think maybe as we're passing through the tunnel, or whatever, like the connector on the station that leads us to our little biodome with our islands, I think we see like all of the artificial light pour into our box, and that's when Mars like stands up and then like looks out the window, and I think we see. I think he's looking at specifically like the water around the island, right? Because this is the one time you get a really good view of it when the train is coming into the island. And what you can see are these like land masses that are like new islands in development, or they were like part of the island at some point and somehow they like drifted off or whatever, whatever fake space like geological forces there are. But these little proto islands are this like dusty red color, and I think that's what Mars specifically looks at. They're conveniently like his namesake. Yeah, I think he's just looking at those, and those like calm him down because you don't really see those. Like every other island, I think maybe our island is like new or it's been moved recently or something, but all the other biodomes don't really have these like in development land masses. So I like that stuff.
Cool. I know some of y'all probably don't have family, but for like, are people have families? Are they here in this town, or do you all live together in the one place?
I would say like maybe one of my parents is in this town. I just say I live in with like my mother or something in this town. It's like she can be the artist too. I mean, like I don't. It might be the type of thing where I'm even staying in an apartment like a block from her or something, or like I'm staying with like in the dorms like a block away. You could say dorms, but like our shared housing, because I'm still open to that idea.
Of having like a shared Big Brother-esque house. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that idea. Like it's available there for people who don't have family or they moved away from the family, but like it's not mandatory if you do have family in the town. Karina has guardians who people mistake for her parents, and she doesn't dissuade them of that idea. But she mostly, I think, now lives in that Big Brother house.
I think Rain maybe has an aunt or uncle, or an aunt and uncle who live in the town. That and he's welcome to stay there. So, yeah, I think he generally stays there because apart from Karina, he hasn't really had positive experiences with the rest of the pilots so far. So he doesn't want to spend more time with them than he has to.
What about our dear Mars?
Mars definitely lives in the shared housing. I think that Mars's parents are they have some like bureaucratic job. So I don't know. Yeah. I don't even think Mars knows, right? He just knows that they work for the government. They work for the city, right? So I think they have like apartments provided for them, like in the administrative district or whatever. One day my parents go on vacation, and yeah, I think for as long as I've been in the garden, I've been in dorms or housing of some sort, away from them, like boarding school.
Okay. I think I'm gonna retcon a bit about the docent not sending actual messages. I think she should do that. Like she's not completely heartless. I think the message you kind of get once you get into town is 30 minutes because where to give you time to change, get some water. I don't know, get some
Good
refreshments.
thing I already changed.
Okay, well, yeah. I think she assumed most people wouldn't change inside that sweat box of, of a train compartment. Although she probably expected you to have done that. She lives in a bungalow that's connected to your shared housing. Like there's a corridor to it, and it's a very if unless there's anything you want to do, I think we're just gonna go straight to that office. I think I vaguely remember I saw in previous versions of this game there's like a thing detailing what the docent actually does, and I've completely forgotten what it is. If you don't mind, Darren, can you refresh my mind?
Yeah. So the docent is the basically the only point of contact that the Hilts really have in the paramilitary organization. So there's of course like an entire support staff, there are mechanics and everything, but like you don't really like interface with them, right? Like you're not treated as like an employee of the paramilitary organization. Although you may feel that way and it may be presented to you that way, from the organization's perspective, all the hilts are just like tools. They're the other part. They're the key to the blades, the key blades. And yeah, so like pretty much the only person that you will have face-to-face contact with is the docent, who is like your handler, your manager. Becomes probably for Mars is like definitely like a pseudo parent figure. They take up that role.
Cool. So I think 30 minutes. Give you time to change, or not if folks want to keep on their pilots uniform. And yeah, I think you walk into her office, which has this kind of like, it has this big window view looking out into like those red rocks out. I think I'm kind of imagining you're kind of at the edge of town, and yeah, this big office view, and she's got like a desk kind of like on this corner, and she's just kind of sitting there, almost like she's staring into space because she's looking at her eyepiece. And there's 4 chairs arranged in front of her. It's all very familiar. And yeah, I think as you all kind of sit down, she kind of looks away from where she's looking and says, "Well, I had hoped the 4 of you had been paying attention to your emails at the start of the day. I'd hope this parade didn't sneak up on all of you."
Karina stays quiet.
I'm like, no, I think it went well. I very much enjoyed it. I was looking forward to it, and I was not disappointed because I actually read my email, and I got some pretty good calculations done on my computing device in the meantime. But you know what? This is weird. So give me a second because I have to like reflect on my character is maybe openly being like, you probably didn't expect me to actually do my homework to the docent at this point, because I'm realizing like I'm not trying to be teacher's pet here, so I'm kind of saying it with a lot of sarcasm. So,
I think she just kind of smiles at that and says, "Well, you see, you certainly you're expressing yourself actually at this. Now that I think about it,
mhm. Okay. Yeah, let's see. I think I got a 7 again. Yeah.
cool.
7.
All right, so you decide to blame an NPC, which I guess what you're doing. Yeah, they reject your outburst and tell you why you're wrong. Straight to level. I'll mention Darren did a thing he mentioned in the chat, which is called reflect. Which is basically if you spend 3 links, you can add a +1 to one of your levels, to one of your stats, and if that level is strained, you can get rid of that strain.
Okay, and it's not good to have everything strained, or it's just because you're rolling at disadvantage on everything at that point.
That, and if you miss a roll in one battle, your blade delimits, which basically goes berserk.
Yeah.
You don't want that because your blade, you're psychosomatically linked to your blade.
Mhm. Okay. Well, I'll probably consider a place to reflect soon then.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, delimiting is bad stuff. If delimiting is bad stuff, why did we trigger that? Okay,
yeah, I mean, well, and I mean, that's actually, maybe that's what Benjen did in the meeting, because I noticed that Mars did this earlier, but maybe Benjen would also just do a reflect upon things and just like raise the score and take away a level and do that. Is that all right if we go back and retcon that?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, so you spend all that, but you still failed the roll anyway. Not failed, but like you still got 7 to 9. So yeah, it's an eternal move. You can do it whenever you want. So yeah. So what did you say again?
Yeah, let me react to that too, because I'll be like, because I feel like he's being sarcastic and being like, did you read about the parade? Did you have a good time? Like, I had an excellent time. It was even better than I imagined.
I think she is going to be sarcastic back to you and says that, well, I had hoped your ability to have a good time has not been impaired in between outsider attacks, Benjen. I had presumed standing around and smiling, you would excel at that, and you did fairly well. Unlike some people here. Mars, how are you? How are you looking?
Ma'am, it wasn't my fault. I had a professional demeanor, and my squad mates just didn't follow the script.
Seeing as it's a fairly simple script, stand and wave, I fail to see how in the optics of this, the one person who failed to stand and wave was yourself.
I was trying to keep the squad together, ma'am. I was, one thing went wrong and then it just fell onto the other.
Mars, I know you enjoy these sorts of events, but these these sort of parades, they don't require an iron fist or a tight script. All you had to do was fairly simple things, and then you move on with the rest of your life. You didn't need to direct them as much as you thought you should have.
Can we, as a player level, is there a squad leader?
Yeah, I was actually wondering, if there should be a squad leader, and it probably is you because two people here are fairly new. One person probably doesn't care enough to be squad leader. So I think it was probably you,
Yeah.
since you're the one who probably wants to be.
Yeah, Mars does want to be. I just know what I do as my squad leaders as the docent. Um, how do I want to approach this? Yes, ma'am. Yeah, maybe I think I just say that. I think I'm just gonna cut it off there. I think what Mars is thinking, though, what's happening in his head is that he's thinking like the squad is so undisciplined. I have to. I have to like micromanage everything.
God, sounds like you're being introspective there.
Getting stressed. This is a stressful day, and now
Oh, poor Mars.
super ego. I just cleared that one. I have a +1, thankfully. We'll see how this goes. That's an 8.
All right. So yeah, strain a level or tell what's going on, and yeah, you have to do it now. So
Yes, I know.
yeah, I told you this. I told you on Wednesday this was gonna
Come back.
come back for you. Yeah, for those who weren't there on Wednesday, I was in the exact same spot. I either could strain all my levels or deliver an outburst.
No, I'm gonna strain level. I can't do it. This is not the right time. I know, that was exactly what I was thinking, Karina. I was gonna be like, Karina, tell her. But no, I'm gonna strain a level. I still have levels to strain. I'm gonna keep it together. Barely.
Okay, so you just say like, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. And I think it's like you get the solid or like unemotional face, what Mars has been trained to do and act. And I'm gonna stand there and wait. Hopefully this blows over.
Yeah, I think at your subservience, she kind of nods and just kind of addresses all of you and just says, "Now, I know the Governor General puts a lot of import on these sort of events, these propaganda videos, these parades. I'm warning you now so that he's considering a gala ball in the next week or so, and the four of you are invited as special guests to celebrate the ongoing success of the garden. But make no mistake, children, these events, as important as they seem, they pale in comparison to what the four of you are here to do, which is to combat those threats, those that would threaten the station. And I want to make sure the four of you remember that."
All right. I think Karina's gonna have an outburst.
You're not even gonna be introspective, you're just gonna shout. Are you?
Yeah. Well, when she said when the docent's like the whole remember what the real thing is like yeah, we're tools. So Karina's was pretty quiet, was very impassive, didn't even try to jump to Mars's defense or anything like that. Was actually expecting Mars to blame her. Um, and says, "Then why do we have to go through this stupid shit? We the What is the purpose of the ball?" Shouldn't we just be training and learning if that's what we are?
All right, so this is expressing yourself. It looks like.
Yeah.
'Cause,
So,
yeah, because I wanna know how to modulate this response.
yeah. I only have. I forgot. I only have one in super ego. All right. 8.
Hey, all right. So on a man, this move is quite cruel in the 7 to 9 because the NPC will reject your outburst and tell you why you're wrong. And so I think, do you stand up when you do this? When you
No,
okay?
but like she's very like tense and everything, and like staring it's what's the word, defiantly.
Yeah. The docent quirks an eyebrow, just one, and I don't know why I'm doing this. And she says, "Well, Karina, if you must know, Palladium Station is small compared to where we used to be. It's contained, it's fragile, it's it is a jewel out in the cosmos. And so it relies on its people to make sure it runs well. And its people relies on the four of you to make sure they stay alive, not just physically, but mentally, and spiritually as well. As low them to admit, there is a benefit to them making sure that they see you, that they support you, and that they love you. So long as you keep the love of the public, you will get to do what you were here to do with the minimum of stress and red tape and obstacles. So as much as you should probably train and keep yourself sharp, never forget that you're all doing this for the people of this station and that they deserve to know who their heroes are. Is that clear, Karina?
She doesn't say anything.
All right, did you just train a level?
Which one do I strain? Is it the one I rolled on, or?
Yeah, actually, which one? It just says strain a level. Do I pick or do they pick?
The the player picks. Usually, what I'll say, you can choose. Anyone works, but what I say is usually you will strain the one that you rolled with first, and then if that one's already strained, then whichever one you want.
Okay. So yeah, I'll strain the id then.
Aw. I think the docent kind of like leans back as you say nothing, and she's doing the thing she always does, which is kind of fiddle with her watch. It's like it's almost a sign of like her being like, okay, all right, got the ugly stuff out of the way. Let's just relax for a bit. And she kind of almost smiles and she says, "Now, is there anything else the four of you wish to bring up?"
Ma'am,
Yes, Mars.
I'm sorry, Rain. Ma'am, I'm a little worried about Rain. I think that he's not suited to pilot a blade yet.
You're just saying this out loud in front of him.
Wow. As the squad leader to our superior, this is the time to bring it up.
Wow. Docent looks at you, Rain.
With all due
And
respect, ma'am, at least I am here to kill outsiders and not make a spectacle of myself.
Wow. I think this is another role. I don't know what this. Oh, Mars, are you gonna respond? Or I think the docent is just like again quirking eyebrow, like okay.
Docent, I am. The spectacle, as you just said, is part of our job, and I'm not worried
But
about.
our real job is always defending the people of this station against the outsiders.
And that's what I'm worried about, Rain. I need you to be at 100%. And if you're not sleeping, if you're dreaming about outsiders, then how can I know you're gonna be there for the squad?
I'm gonna turn around and look Mara straight in the face and go, "Is this because you're jealous of what I told you?"
I'm just like Benjen is just like looking at the docent, looking at Rain, looking at Mars, looking at Karina, and just not saying anything. Like what's going like Benjen does not have anything to add to this. He's walking on eggshells.
Oh my god.
Karina, that has nothing to do with it. God, that's.
You've been
It's-
acting out of character since I've told you. Are you that gullible? Should you really be the squad leader if you're so gullible to believe that I have powers and can see any of this? And she like does like a hand wave to like between Rain and Benjen.
What? And should it be you, Karina, the new girl, the mysterious one? We don't even know what you can do. Should you be the squad leader?
At least I can keep my composure at a parade.
Oh, I think when you say that, that's when I'm like embarrassed. I turn beat red again. I lock it up because here we are in front of the docent arguing about crushes.
It feels like there's like 5 or 6 moves were triggered there. Rain, are you gonna add anything to this?
So
The docent is just watching at the moment. It's kind of happening so quickly, all at once.
I think Rain is actually just like Rain doesn't know what they're talking about at this point, and is just watching this play out with confusion because he doesn't know they had that conversation.
Okay, all right, okay. So let's break this down with the moves that were triggered first. I definitely think you're making a connection with Rain, Mars. I definitely think Karina, you're expressing yourself because you just did this without. You just did another outburst. Let's make a connection first.
I got a 4.
Oh Jesus. Okay, all right. So they get a
great time.
It's an amazing time.
I changed the text a little bit on a 6-. Sorry to do it mid-game, but I thought just need to mess with link economies some. So I changed it to 6-. The other Hilt decides. So Rain, you'll get to decide that if that interaction with me made you feel closer to the squad in some way, then
No.
okay. If not, then I lose a link.
Also, do we get the chance to, since it was a bunch of things that happened at once, do we finish the rolls before the imminent threat? Because I know technically it's supposed to cut in between this, like, but since there was mechanically things happening at the same time.
Yeah, that's interesting. It would probably make sense to finish the rolls, and then it there's just nothing to tick if we get a miss. So, because losing links or straining levels is important to get in there, and just like respecting the fiction or whatever.
All right.
Okay, so then I express myself again, correct?
Yes, your id is strained, so roll with disadvantage.
So that's 3 dice, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I want to steal a die from Mars.
Just take and
Sounds
take.
hard for
Oh shit.
Wow. Right. Okay. So yeah, I think. Well, obviously there's not gonna be a tick, so that's a nice thing. At least no one strains any levels or links. Instead, what happens is that. Oh, gone.
I was gonna say,
Okay.
sorry, I backseat jamming, but I was like, of course on a 6 you can always strain levels and like make things worse.
Oh yeah, I could do that. I think what happens is no worries, it's your game. I'm fine to defer. So, um, what happens is as this outburst kept going, the alarm goes off, and it's a big fuck off siren because you're in base, and I think that stops the conversation, and you can almost feel like the docent's gaze willing you all to like, no, fuck off. No, not fuck off, but like just come on. And she kind of again, eyebrow perpetually raised, just like, well, now, since you all are clearly angling to do your real job, go ahead then, and we'll see afterward. We'll reassess afterwards where you all are. Now go do your duty. She almost added, for the love of God, but get out of this room and just try not to die. God, let's see. We have like just about 52 minutes ish, maybe 40 minutes. Let's take like a 5-minute break. Calm down after all that drama. Christ on a bike. I think Benjen had the right of it of being the laid back surfer dude because that's what he does.
It's a good thing that the docent shut him up right away. Because that just kept him. He couldn't. Yeah, I felt like he was like, okay. So cool.
All right, let's come back in 5 minutes. BRB.
I think the record should show I'm trying to be a good squad leader.
Trying is the operative word here.
It's gonna be glorious.
How dare you question my ability?
No, I'm very ready to be shown up in this battle.
Ah,
Mars will be crushed.
I love Mars.
Yeah, Mars is fun.
he's oh my god.
But you went after Rain, and Karina can't have that.
I think all this stemmed because Karina decided to have fun on
I know, the one time Karina decides to do something like, alright, like teenager like. Proves that teens are stupid.
yeah.
Especially teen boys.
Yep. Oh yeah. It's rough out there, you know. Gotta save humanity and try to get a date.
Yeah, I can't wait if this prom actually happens or this ball. It's gonna be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So the alarm rings, and I assume obviously this is standard procedure, or at least somewhat standard procedure for y'all. Where is kind of like the place where your blades are stored, like in this town? Is there like a big hangar underwater? Ooh. I mean, I'd be down for that if folks are. Okay.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Maybe like, maybe there's like there's an elevator at your shared housing place. It's a fuck off in a freight elevator that takes you down. Yeah. There's a lot of enclosed spaces. Yeah, box number 2. Down to go on.
Oh no, I was gonna say like a tube that just like glass walls where you're like going through the ocean. You're going through the land, the water below.
Yeah.
The island.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I think it shoots you directly to the hangar. So like you're not allowed to go around the rest of the facility. You're just kind of straight to where your blades are. And I think because a bit limited time, I do want to like get to the outsider bit. So I think what's the launch sequence like then for your blades? Well, if we ever get back, should we ever go back to the hangar, we'll kind of flesh it out a bit more. But I'm curious, like, what is the launch sequence? Is it just like Ava style, more big elevators, or are you all shot out from tubes? Or
My blade automatically turns on as soon as I get into the hangar because we're psychically linked. And it's like one of those things where like in like Big Robot, like their hand comes down and I get in the hand and then like get lifted into like the pilot's section. As for the actual launch, I don't know. I feel like we're all waterproof. We just shoot to the water.
yeah, Darren asked if we're going into space. You know what? Fuck it. Let's make it a space battle. Sure, why not? So, go on.
Oh, I was just gonna add to the hangar launch. I don't.
Yeah, go on.
More detail.
No, go on. Go ahead.
I think for mine, I have to like climb into. It's a very mundane, non-psychic blade, so I have to climb into mine. There's probably mechanics around, and I was picturing. I think there's like a tube that like, I don't think. I feel like mine like doesn't come on. It doesn't like really activate until after it gets into space. So I'm imagining it just goes through like this tube, and then we get a really great scene where water is like pouring into space a little bit, like those drops coming out, and then my blade pops out, and then it turns on and does nightly things.
do Rob, if you want to also do an intro, I feel like now I want to do like an intro of Benjen getting in, because I think his is like kind of something in between that. Like he can control some of the aspects of his blade from outside, so he's able to like basically make a substantial like he's able to basically command the blade to make a little lift for him, and so he just gets into the lift and just kind of like gets carried up to the pilot seat where he climbs in like near the neck and whatnot. Yeah, and I'll go. You guys heard the details from the first session, so I'll spare people that now.
I think Rain's setup is very business-like. Like he gets into the cockpit of the blade, and he runs through, quickly runs through like the launch checklist, like this system on, that system on, and just going through the steps quickly, mechanically, and then blade number 3 launching.
One other little detail, I think, like while he's going up on that lift, he does like he's thinking back to the parade Benjen is, and instead of just being kind of like bored and ordinary, he's like thinking back to what Karina did, and he's going to stand up because he knows he might be being filmed right now, and he stands up and looks a little more regal, and like even so he has got like his coffee stained flight suit on still. So.
That's awesome.
Oh god. So yeah, I think the 4 blades are shot up, and it's kind of like an inverse of the elevator again. You're kind of going up the seas, and I think there are a few like onlookers in the town, just watching as these 4 behemoths, just emerge from the water. But as you're kind of like going through your cockpits and that, you get a report saying, "Oh, this outsider attack is coming from outside the walls of the station." So it's a space battle for y'all. And I think what's kind of waiting when you kind of come up from the water is kind of like this gigantic grav platform that the 4 of you kind of need to step on. And this platform is going to take you up, up, up. And there you can kind of see you're going up to the night sky, but like digitally, it's kind of opening up as kind of like you're going up to like this, like, this pressure, this much smaller, like pressure sealed, like chamber, this airlock, basically. Box 3, yeah. They even have boxes for the big mechs. It's amazing how many boxes they have. And yeah, as you kind of see, space, it's at the outside. While we're waiting, let's build our imminent threat. And yes, I did steal the page you made on Wednesday, Darren. It's down there. If you go to the imminent threat tab in the character keeper, so basically how this works is, you all get to define. You got to add a physical detail to the imminent threat. We're doing our paint the scene. Now we get to paint the monster, and you can say it's small and cuddly if you want, but no, go for interesting. What it's kind of interesting to fight. Like, it could be any detail. Like, not to keep referring to that game on Wednesday. Like, some of the details were like, it has a prehensible tail. It was tall enough to block the moon. It had I think it had eye beams. It had the capacity for eye beams when we took care of that monster quickish. So like it's kind of let's like add any character deals, and we'll kind of clutch them together into a monster. So we'll do that first, and then we'll go with what are you afraid it can do to your blade? But that's kind of build. So like, what can you perceive about it, even from a distance? So there's now just like a airlock stop between you and space, and you can see it out there in the void. What do you see? Like, what physical features do you see out there?
I love the idea of wings of some kind.
Mm.
The type of wings, I'm not sure. Like I could see dragonfly or dragon wings would be both be very, very cool.
Ooh. See, the thing as well, these outsiders. Oh, go on.
Oh yeah, so maybe dragonfly wings because I'm thinking like it's space, so like you don't really need to flap.
Yeah, you need to flap, and these things do eat laws of reality, so they can be freakish, terribly freakish. But yeah, okay, I'll put that down. Actually, I should be noting this down.
I think that it has it's like a light source, you know what I mean? Like it's producing light. We can see like maybe
Like bioluminescent skin.
no, I think it's more like a star, right? Like as a light as like a byproduct or whatever, which I guess is still bioluminescent.
So like a chemical reaction is like
Yeah,
glowing
yeah.
glowing underneath it or like within it, or even the, yeah. That's cool.
Cool. That's freaky.
So I think the wings and like the scales of the creature itself have a very sort of peacockish sort of appearance to them. Like, you know, and it's sort of, it looks very almost beautiful in the, you know, with the light.
All right, I'm down for that. It probably looks magnificent out there in the dark of space. Like it just really stands out.
So I'm going to add the horror element. The face of it looks human. It's this giant ass, like from any other angle could be like, you know, like an Asian style dragon kind of. But when you look at it head on, it's a very humanoid face that's like in the colors of whatever that particular creature's colors are.
What human face would look. Oh god.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. What is his face doing? As okay, no, we'll get to that when we fight it.
It's eating, of course.
Oh, is it like a goldfish just gulping?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Gulping mindlessly like a goldfish. Okay, so I think as you're seeing this creature kind of like zigzag around, the bright light just shining into your third box, and every now and then when it turns, you can see a glimpse of that face as it looks like it's hoovering up the cosmos in its mouth, and you can almost kind of see like the black canvas of space kind of tug into its mouth. Like it doesn't make sense. It shouldn't make physically sense, but you can see it, and every time like you kind of see that, it pulses with this brilliant beam of light, and then a countdown goes as the airlock is about to open. So while this countdown is going, now that you've defined this monster, I want you all to think of what are you afraid that it can do to your blade, either a physical, emotional, or psychological attack, like not a complication in battle, and only pick one of those three. I made a mistake of trying to mark one for every single one, so just either physical or emotional or psychological. Don't give the GM, don't give the docent like ammunition.
I think the obvious thing is like physically, it'd be more difficult for me to control my mech if the gravity was taken away, or if the, let's say, well, yeah, I guess physically, I guess it's just like it could affect the internal systems and just like suck out air, suck out gravity, and just make all the controls like not work, not fire. It might even affect the computation, which is like at the center of what how my mech has gained its strengths from. So I think that's kind of like a physical thing, like affect the way electricity works, affect the way gravity works, and affect the way, yeah, those are all kind of physical.
I'm afraid with its human face that, and probably like from other times before, it indicating that it could take over my mind through my psychic connection with my blade.
I think that it can just like, oh, oh, I think that it can use this light and make like beam attacks, right? Like unblockable. It can just like slice through.
Okay, beam attacks, cool. Go away, Pinterest. I don't want to like those pins.
I'm afraid that the light bouncing off of the patterns on it will dazzle or confuse us and make it hard to concentrate.
Cool. Okay, so.
Did we give you enough ammo?
Oh yeah, well that's the point. That's the entire point of this exercise. Is that I'm giving. You never know. I thought that was the point. You said so yourself.
Yeah, but I like to keep it a secret until I hit it.
Okay. Well, okay. All right. I should. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So before, as this countdown goes, let's go to operational moves. This is the move. Those are the moves you'll be mostly using. Definitely mostly using while you're fighting in your blade. Right. So there is a move there that called Mount the Blades, which I have to do. It'll determine your position, your engagement with the imminent threat. Okay, so we're gonna answer questions and then roll plus nothing, and we'll take advantage if there are more yeses, disadvantages if there are more nos. So, have you fought this imminent threat before? Nope. Are most of you well rested? Most levels unstrained. That's no. You just got back from a parade.
Well, only one of us has only one strain, and one has 0 strain. So
You're
it's
not
half
well.
and half.
Yeah, but in terms of strains, yeah, that's half and half. But in terms of the well rested bit, fictionally, you're just you were in the middle of fighting. Like, come on. Sorry. Does everyone have at least one link? No. Oh God. And let's see. Are you all deploying? Yes. It's 3-1. All right. So we're rolling on a disadvantage, and since Darren rolls this, I'm gonna roll this as well. I'm gonna use physical dice because I never get to use this. I don't have friends who play role playing games IRL, so he's kind of a waste of dice. So I'm just gonna roll disadvantage. I'm gonna roll that. That's a 3. So that's a 3 there. So on a 6-, the imminent threat has 6 ticks. So you are gonna need to deplete this clock that I'm about to. Let's see. Human Dragonfly Outsider. Okay, so 6 ticks. There we go. Yeah, this will be a long fight. We're not going to finish this in this session, clearly. So let's just kind of like, let's get some action going and we'll see where we'll end up. Okay, so the countdown goes. Yeah, 10, and counts on to 1. Airlock opens, gust of air breezing out, and I guess the 4 of you launch, and you see this gulping. I think it launches as soon as the and the human face looks at you, and just it's doing like that. Yeah. I think it's busy kind of like sucking the gravity as well. So you've got a moment. Y'all poor stressed teenagers. Squad leader Mars. So how are you doing?
All right, listen, we've trained for this. It's going to be just like the simulator, all right? And I need I forgot all the character names immediately. Wow. I need Benjen, take the lead. Karina, stay back. Don't get too close. We don't know what's capable yet. And Rain, just stay close. Don't endanger yourself.
All right, with that, Benjen will move forward with a phalanx of hollow projectors of himself, of the mech itself, so that the first target isn't himself, it is actually the holograms, but it's like a phalanx, so it's like, I don't know, maybe like 2x2 or something like that. I'm not sure what I'm quite capable of, but I want to make sure that he doesn't get struck down like immediately or eaten immediately. It's like holograms that would get eaten, and he's slow, so he's just gonna go because he's got to get a head start on everybody.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. It sounds like you're activating the blade, which is when you draw on the power of your blade, describe its effect, and then you roll plus super ego. So that's what it sounds like, since you're using your blade's special abilities. That's the move for when you want to reshape the environment, so to speak, using your blade's abilities.
And if it's already strained, does that mean I roll with disadvantage, like at a -1?
Yeah.
I got a 10.
What? Oh, well, when you roll with disadvantage, it's not a -1. You roll 3 dice and you take the lowest.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
That's okay. No. I'm gonna add the other dice, and then I'll just roll through all together. My 2 lowest are both 6s, so
yeah, it's a 12. Oh shit, it's 12. Darn, I got a 12. Okay, all right. So on a hit, strain the level, and everyone takes advantage the next time they unsheath the blade. Unsheath the blade is the engagement, that's the actual attacking move. But yeah, everyone takes advantage when they unsheath the blade next time. So, but on a 10 plus, you ignore the strain, so you don't have to strain the level. On a 12 plus, though, your power potentially manifests permanently, but you'll need to delimit to make it so. So, what this means is that you can add a new strength or specialty tag to your blade, but you'll have to delimit at this juncture. What delimiting means is that your blade is going to go berserk, and there's going to be some psychological effects on Benjen, but you can only do 2 moves while you're delimited. You can only unsheath the blade, which is attacking, and maneuver, which is maneuvering. But you'll always be at an advantage when you roll those 2 moves.
Oh, cool. So, but then I get to always have these holograms forever. That's it. Like, or this isn't a constantly activated thing. It seems like an interesting trade-off. I don't know that I should really consider it, but it seems like it'd be crazy to happen right at the start of the fight.
Yeah, the thing is, 12 pluses, they're rare. But,
yeah, I mean, I might do it. It'll be interesting. I think it's an interesting turn because Benjen might just lose control at this point, or like if things are going so well that he's like, oh, I didn't realize that I could make this connection, and he just like goes for the bold move,
Okay. All right. So
I see the case for it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So basically, but at the end of this, should y'all survive, you'll get a new strength or specialty tag you can add to your blade. So your power will. There's a part of you that will manifest permanently in this blade. So are you gonna go for it?
Sure. See what happens.
Okay, cool. So all right, answer this question, Benjen. How does your blade change and become more feral?
I think the head is usually it's eyeless. There's no eyes, but it actually like falls forward to that the head piece is maybe on the front of its chest now, and it reveals, I don't know. And each of the holograms do this, and they reveal like two glowing eyes at the top of the head that are usually resting on its back, so they're now forward, and so it's more feral like that, but it also just pulls out its sword, and it's like, and this is all like all the clones in unison, and so it's like it's feral in the sense that it knows it's the front line of defense, but it's going to use that. It's putting everything into this defense so that it's like it's kind of got blood in its eyes. Something about this thing is, it's something about this is like the blade itself is very activated by whatever it is. It knows that this is a pretty big threat, and it's putting everything it's got into it.
All right. So your blade is psychosomatically linked to yourself. How are you feeling, Benjen?
Benjen's feeling like he's going to have to do a lot of work on this fight to make sure that everybody makes it out alive.
I can't believe he's now the only sane person while everyone's.
I mean, he's like, all right, they're fighting like crazy. I have to make sure it's easy for them, so I'm going to have to put it all I got. That's what he's thinking.
Let me give you. We have to back up for notes on delimiting. It's like bad to delimit. So I like the idea about Benjen making the connections and trying new things and accidentally flipping it, but the change that's happening in the blade is like a physical representation of Benjen's like loss of control. So you're like not in control of your blade at all, and your blade is just gonna go and try to like kill the imminent threat no matter what. So usually it's like the rational thought like isn't there, right? Because you can't steer it, you can't tell it what to do. There's nothing like that available to Benjen really. I mean, at the player level, you kind of switch and like you're not really playing as Benjen anymore in the fight. Now you're just playing as the blade.
Oh, cool. So okay, so I might modify it in that instead of like a neatly formulated formation, I think maybe like the individual holograms start going in directions like that my fingers wouldn't even be able to draw, and actually like without the help of a computer or like some other mind, it's kind of just like they almost all have their own individual like desire to kill the to kill the imminent threat. And so yeah, so you're saying Benjen's losing himself in this because it's like the art is drawing him now. The cool simulations he was running earlier, they paid off and they seemed to work on paper, but then he tried them in actuality, and it's just like he tried them in reality, and it's just like it went haywire in a way that's like he like put too much power into the computing core, and it took his art and it backfired.
Squad, how are you all reacting to this site? Benjen immediately.
He's like in counts. He's like, something's wrong. Something's wrong. Oh, something's perfectly right. And then he just goes like quiet.
I love it. I feel like this isn't the first time Karina has witnessed this. First time with this squad, of course, definitely. But it's not the first time she's witnessed this. And she swears, and she was gonna listen to Mars, like, okay, stay back and but she's fast and adaptive. And she's gonna go straight towards Benjen. And see, I don't think it's actually mechanically possible. I don't think it is, but like narratively, she's gonna try to undelimit with her psychic powers. Because it's not good. It's not good at all.
What is? Now defer back to you, Darren. What does that look like?
So that's bad. Yeah, you definitely can't take someone out of delimiting. They're kind of in that state until the imminent threat is dead, mechanically at least. But I love
Yeah.
like, the narrative of it. And usually like I've had that happen in other play tests, and like usually it ends up with someone getting their blade's arm ripped off. Because like the delimited blade is not going to stop. That's really cool. I think there's an interesting thing though here with like I don't know if it quite makes sense, but if Benjen is getting introspective, then this might be a really great moment to trigger reach out though. Since if you want to think of it, trying to stop it that way, reach out gives you this time to have a conversation in the space, but the blade is still going to be delimited at the end of it.
Right. No, that makes sense. Like I'm not actually, but like obviously in character, like Karina believes maybe she might have the ability to do it. Like it's never been done before, obviously. And everything. Oh my gosh. I gotta love Evangelion. So use a link.
Yeah, I think Benjamin DeLinks. I think he's probably not quite at the introspective level, but I think if you're feeling out for that, like it'll probably come once he gets like exhausted. Like I think he wants to. He's very much lost in what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, I'll use my only link to try to get to to Benjen.
We'll have to wait for Benjen to trigger introspective. That's the
Yeah.
only thing that reach out hinges on. So when we see that roll, then you'll stop it. You can send the link and trigger the reach out.
Okay. So yeah, but that's so she's basically trying to get to him, and
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So while you're doing that, and before we get to that, because we're a bit pressed for time, I want to see what the other two are doing, and then see where that introspection goes. Rain, you see all
So-
this? Go on.
Yeah, so seeing Benjen's blade going crazy, and seeing Karina going in to try and assist, Rain's basically going to lay down covering fire, like trying to keep the outsider occupied while Karina tries to help Benjen. So it's just like firing off like bolts of energy from his bow.
Okay. This sounds like a maneuver when you react to an imminent threat and / or a change in environment. Or I read that I thought that you're changing the environment. This might
I think
be
maneuver still fits. 'Cause
yeah.
it's just like shooting at it. And maneuver I think gives you better like narrative changes.
Yeah.
Right?
Cool. Roll plus id.
What is my id?
You have no strength levels, so you don't have to worry about that.
It's 0. Yeah, so that's an 8.
All right. So on an 7 to 9. Okay. So the docent will offer you a worse outcome, a hard bargain, or an ugly choice. Okay. I think. Okay. So you're shooting down the covering fire so that Karina can get to Benjen, right?
Mhm.
I think. Okay, so let me look at this. Okay, so what's gonna happen is, that can totally happen. It's just that what's gonna happen now is, your shots fire off on it, and its attention is gotten from Karina. But the thing is, its attention is now on you, and what's going to happen is that it's actually going to like start evading around the phalanx, and in its mouth it stops gulping and it stretches open as it directs its eyes on you, and you can see like this brilliant beam of like starfire bellowing up inside its mouth. Um, as it starts. Yeah, you got his attention. It starts like just firing on you. It's belching out beams of starlight. And it's got you thoroughly pinned down. Like Karina's fine now, but you're gonna have to like do something, or someone might have to help you to get you out of this line of fire. So squad leader, how's everything going?
Oh, everything's gone wrong immediately. I think like in the midst of me trying to pop onto the comms to tell Karina like to stay away from Benjen, I see Rain open fire, and I think just before I was like, Rain, stay with me to stay safe, basically. I think instead I'm like, Rain now. And I'm gonna like dash forward and try to God, what do I do? I think I'm just gonna try to attack it, right? Like I want to distract it, but I'm just gonna like go in on it. So I like dash forward in my blade, my space blade. Does it look like it's doing in space? Maybe it has like a fucking like cape that's blowing in the fake space wind, so we can tell that it's like dashing. There's a jet somewhere on it.
Yeah. Your ego is like the one one level that isn't strained, so you can just roll
Luckily.
advantage.
Yes. Oh yeah, that's right. Because we activate. I was like, wait, advantage from what? That's right. That's a 9.
All right, cool. On a 7 to 9. All right, so on tick 1, but you must introduce an unexpected change in the conflict. I love that bit, honestly. Like, so cool.
So I think the cool thing, the like very like nifty thing about my blade is that there's no like weapons equipped to it, and instead they like, I don't know, there's like atomizers in the hands or something. Somehow weapons can just be created, whatever pseudoscience you want to hand wave. I think I get like, I don't know, a halberd or whatever, like a long axe thing. I didn't really know weapons that well. I don't know why I was like, I'll do the weapon thing. But I think I do that and like swipe up and maybe can like knock its head away or something. And I think I like smack its head right when it's about to blast out one of these rays, and instead it shoots this ray towards like an asteroid or something, and because of the weird gravity stuff, this asteroid like shatters apart, and then there's just like this rain of rocks, meters, I guess, coming down onto the battlefield.
Nice. Yeah, I think since we're just about time, I think we'll end on that cliffhanger as like Karina's going towards Benjen, Rain is kind of under fire, but Mars manages like, yeah, knock it away, only for like asteroids to start raining on y'all as the gravity of this outsider just sucks it all in towards y'all. And yeah, I think we'll leave it there for this session. Roll credits. Fly Me to the Moon plays.
Good cliffhanger.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna start the broadcast. Yeah. So that was fun. You're very ridiculous people. I just want that on the record. Very ridiculous, fantastically ridiculous people. I'm gonna stop the broadcast now. Goodbye, YouTube. Bye.